What is up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the Paddle and Pivot podcast. I am your host, Jordyn, and I am so grateful to be here today. I have been gone for a minute, and I know you guys are like, we've been refreshing our feed, not seeing you coming up. Like, what's tea? What's going on? Not too much, okay? Medical school has been putting me through it. And these past 2 semesters, insanity. I've had back-to-back exams. I'm officially in my systems block, so we're going body system by body system. As of right now, when I'm recording this, a couple of days before I post it, I have done heme, lymph, derm, respiratory, cardio, and I'm in the middle of GI. So I have been a busy girl, and that's why I have been MIA on socials, especially on the podcast, but things are slowing down a little bit. I'm about to be on a summer break for a couple weeks, so hopefully I can pre-record some episodes and just overall get it together, because this podcast is definitely my passion project, and I really want to spend more time on it because I love to be creative, and obviously I want to just be able to spend time on my passion project. So today I want to welcome you to season 2, episode 4, which is a mid-year reset and catch up, because obviously we have so much to talk about. The quote for today is, "May the flowers remind us why the rain is so necessary." I originally found this quote when I had planned this episode to be a spring reset, but I think that it's still relevant because it just helps to remind us that beautiful things often come from struggles. So during those struggles, just try to remember that it's not the end and that the outcome is going to be beautiful, so the hard work is worth it. This is specifically related to me in medical school because, as I just mentioned, I be going through it. It's a lot going on, but I know at the end of the day that this is what I'm meant to do and this is what I love to do. So I am just pushing through because I know that the end result will be totally worth it in the end. My pedal moment would be that I get to have this weekend off. I haven't had a weekend off in so long just because of how busy our schedule has been, but I have a midterm exam on Friday, and that's the only class that I'm taking for the rest of the semester, so that means that I'll be able to actually relax and, as I like to say, get my personality back this weekend. I'm so looking forward to it. I am volunteering at a women's shelter on Saturday, and then I'm having a craft night with my cousin on Sunday, so I'm really looking forward to that. I just started watching Sharp Objects because I listened to the audiobook, and now I'm watching the series on HBO Max, so I will have lots of time to binge that this weekend. My pivot moment is that, as you all know, I live in South Florida, and I was supposed to have an exam this afternoon, but there was like a mini earthquake situation. Apparently there was an earthquake in Cuba this morning, and we felt like tremors here in Florida, which is crazy. I didn't even know that was possible, but my exam had to get rescheduled, so that just kind of messes up the rest of our schedule, but it is what it is. We move on, and all I can do is focus on what's coming next, because as I mentioned, I have a different midterm on Friday, so I just need to focus on that, and we'll see when they're able to fit this exam into our schedule. I know it's from a long time ago, but I do want to go over the prompts from last episode. The first one was, how would your friends describe you? I think that my friends would describe me as determined, reliable, and loyal, because I do a really great job of reaching out to my friends and making sure that we still talk and we still stay connected, even though a lot of my friendships are long distance. I also think that they would say that I'm loyal because I remember certain events for them and just look out for them in different ways. Which friendship are you grateful for and why? I'm grateful for all of my friendships, but I want to give a special shout out to my girl Jamie. We met in undergrad and we haven't seen each other in 3.5 years, which is diabolical, but she lives in Maryland, I live in Florida / Bermuda, so it's really hard to be able to see each other, but we always check in with each other and make sure that each other's good, and she's really my mirror in some ways, and so I just really appreciate that friendship. And the last prompt that I had was, how do you give back to your friends? I try to give back to my friends by showing them my appreciation. For example, writing Valentine's cards or being the one to say, hey, we should plan to do something together. And I I just think that's a really beautiful way that I'm able to give back to some of my friendships. So now that we've gotten all that intro stuff out of the way, let's get into the main part of today's episode. Before we get into the real reset part of the episode that you guys are used to, this is still part of the main part of the episode because I wanted to catch you guys up. Like, of course, we have to chat and see what I've been up to. So the main things that I've been up to since the last time I recorded, I would say I was traveling a lot in May because the last weekend of April, I actually went back to Bermuda for my quote-unquote break between semesters, which was really a 3-day weekend, which I think is really rude, but whatever. I went home because my cousin had her baby shower, and it was really nice to be able to see all my cousins. I love and appreciate the relationship that my cousins and I have. We've been consistently having cousins nights 1 to 2 times a year, and they're all older than me, so it's just really nice to spend time with them. And I didn't spend as much time with them when I was younger, so I love that we have that relationship now. The weekend following that, I went to Washington, D.C. for the American College of Obstetrician and Gynecology conference. The keynote speaker was Michelle Obama, so of course I had to be there. Couldn't miss that for the world. And also, I just am so passionate about women's health and OBGYN in general, and this conference was literally life-changing. I have a vlog that I made about it while I was there. I just haven't had the time to edit it, so hopefully that will be up pretty soon. But it was really informative to go to so many different workshops and learn about women's health from so many different perspectives, because I haven't done my women's health block yet. That's at the end of my second year of medical school, but just putting together some of the little snippets that I've seen from shadowing an OBGYN and being in women's health clubs, volunteering at a women's shelter, and now getting to see some more things that are more complex that I wouldn't have seen if I didn't go to that conference. It was also a really great networking opportunity. So if you're interested in medicine, I would definitely recommend going to a conference. That is something that I'm looking forward to doing again, hopefully. And then on Memorial Day weekend, I went back to Ohio for the first time since I graduated 3.5 years ago because one of my friends got married. So I was able to be her bridesmaid, and I was so honored that she asked me to be her bridesmaid. It was such a great weekend. I got to catch up with my old roommate, some other friends from Ohio, because as I mentioned, I hadn't been back, so I hadn't seen a lot of these people in so long. And it was just a nice resetting weekend. I got to have some solo time, and you guys know how I feel about my solo time. And it was just nice to reconnect with my friends and have girl time, because at the end of the day, I'm just a girl, and so girl time literally means the entire world to me. The last thing that I wanted to talk about in this little recap was that I hadn't been to the dog shelter in so long, and you guys know how I feel about the shelter, and especially my baby Duke. I missed him so much, but I got to hang out with him this weekend, and that was so much fun. He's just such a happy dog. He loves to play with his toys, and he's still working on going on his walks and things, but I'm looking forward to spending more time with him in the coming weeks and months and just helping him to grow as a dog overall. Now, if you really came here for the reset and getting to know what I'll be up to and maybe planning your reset at the same time as mine, I got you. That's what we're going to get into right now. I'm not really going to go over much from the last time that I made a reset episode because, to be honest, I can't even remember when that was, probably the beginning of the year. So we're just going to look forward. I've been keeping up with my stuff personally on a month-to-month or week-to-week basis, but we're just not even going to worry about that right now. So some goals that I have for the next couple months, this is kind of my summer reset, I would say. So I would say between June and about September, these would be my goals and the different things that I am focusing on. My first goal is to watch 3 movies. I do not watch a lot of movies because I tend to watch TV and stuff late at night, so I don't like to start movies, but I want to enjoy movies just like everyone else, and I'm a big pop culture girl, so I want to know what everyone's talking about. The next goal is to complete 3 junk journal spreads. My overall goal is to do one junk journal spread each month, but I've just been so busy I haven't found the time to do that. So I'm looking forward to craft night with my cousin this weekend to catch up on some junk journal spreads. And I did a couple 2 weekends ago because that was a weekend that I had off for the first time in a long time. So I actually made one of my friends and family that got engaged recently, but I'm definitely looking forward to completing those junk journal spreads. As you all may or may not know, I've been on my health and fitness journey. So another one of my goals is to work out 4 times per week. I've been pretty consistent with 3 times per week recently, especially when I changed my mindset and remembered that going on a walk is literally a workout. I don't know why, to me, if I wasn't dripping in sweat, it wasn't a workout. But going 4 times a week is going to be my goal for these months. The next goal is to get 1 hour of outside time per week. If you've talked to me in person, and I might have talked about this on the podcast before, but getting sunlight is truly so life-changing for me. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, if I am feeling down and depressed and I reflect and see when's the last time I went outside and spent time in the sun, there's normally a correlation there. So it's a goal for me to spend at least 1 hour of time outside per week. It doesn't have to be 1 hour consistently, but just an hour overall. So sometimes this looks like telling myself to go outside 3 times per week. If I go on a walk around my apartment complex, that normally takes me about 20 minutes. So if I do that 3 times, naturally that gets me to my 1 hour per week goal. And my last goal that I set for the summer is to read one self-help book. I'm always reading my fiction books, but I want to make time to read self-help books as well. I think the book that I'm going to choose is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I've been wanting to read that for so long, but I just haven't really had the time. The next thing that I wanted to discuss is my habits. You guys know me and my habits go together like peanut butter and jelly. The first one that I want to focus on is my morning routine, which kind of goes with my second one, which is yoga. But I've been slacking on my morning routine and yoga recently just because my sleep has been chaotic, even more so than it usually is. And I noticed that doing my morning routine and my journaling really helps to ground me. And it also helps with some of the joint and muscle pain that I have. And I think that's just a really important way that I can set the tone for my day. The next thing that I wanted to focus on is journaling. I've actually been doing pretty good with journaling recently, but I want to make sure that I'm maintaining that. And I found that it's helping me to reflect and be more proactive about the ways that I deal with some of my mental health challenges. My fourth goal is to drink at least 64 ounces of water recently. I used to be really good at drinking water a while ago, but I don't know why I've been slacking a bit recently. So I definitely want to get my water up because it just helps in so many ways. Most of your body is water, and as a med student, I obviously know that it's important, but I just forget sometimes. It doesn't make sense. I'm not drinking a bunch of other liquids. I just don't drink anything. It's actually the most insane thing ever. And then my last habit, is to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. If you know me, you know that I am a night owl. I stay awake way too late all the time. So I am really trying to drill in on this goal and get enough sleep because I know that sleep is very important, especially for my mental health, especially for being able to function well in school. And I just really need to lock that in. And those are my 5 main habits that I'm going to be focusing on this summer. Moving right along, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is my ins and outs. You guys know that this is one of my favorite parts of my reset because it helps me to kind of have a global view of the things that I want to focus on. Yes, I have my goals and my habits, but putting them in terms of ins and outs just really helps to see some practical changes that I want to include in my day-to-day life. For my ins, volunteering at the dog shelter, it just brings me so much joy to spend time with those animals. A lot of the animals that were there since I first started volunteering back in October actually got adopted. So that's so nice to see them go to their forever homes and just thrive. And I really hope that we can get Duke to that point one day. I'm really hopeful. But I just want to spend more time there, as much time as I can. The second in is hanging out with and studying with friends. I do value my solo time, but I also think I can take it to the extreme sometimes. So I definitely need to be really intentional about seeing other people and maintaining those connections that I do have access to in person. My third in is time blocking my schedule. I think that time blocking is such a good tool. I think I talked about it in my ADHD episode last year in May, but it's something that really helps me to get things done productively, because I've been struggling with that a little bit recently just because different things will pop up in my schedule. But when I have a dedicated block of time to do something, that's when I really hit a flow state and really, really get things done. The fourth in is going to therapy. Me and my therapist, that's my girl. Like, don't know what I would do without her. And I just want to continue to go to therapy so that I can continue to become the best version of myself. The last in is healthy snacks. I've been really focusing on increasing my protein, increasing my fiber, increasing my iron. Those are some things that I've been working on with my nutritionist. So I definitely want to be able to incorporate that into healthy snacks so that I can just improve my nutrition and my health overall. Now to focus on my outs. The first one is procrastination. I am the queen of procrastination. There are so many things that I need to do all the time that just get put off. And I'm trying to do things earlier in the day so that I can have the actual time to relax at night. The second out is studying every single day. That's just not good for my mental health. I need a break every now and then. I've been falling behind on my lectures, so then I have to play catch up, which doesn't leave me with a lot of free time. So I am definitely working on improving that, which goes hand in hand with time blocking my schedule and getting enough sleep. My third out is skipping workouts. I think that the mindset shift of remembering that going on a walk outside is a workout is going to help with that. And also I want to start using my walking pad again, just so that I can increase my movement overall, even when I feel like I quote unquote don't have time. My fourth out is eating the same foods on rotation. I can definitely get in the habit of just eating the same meal over and over again. And I want to explore and try new foods, try new recipes, because there's so many different foods out there and I just want to explore them all. And my last out is neglecting my hobbies. As I mentioned earlier, I haven't been junk journaling as much. I haven't bought any new plants recently. I just want to be able to spend more time doing my hobbies. And again, that goes hand in hand with some of the other things that I mentioned, like staying on top of my schoolwork overall. Next, let's get into my dopamine menu. I love this trend on the internet. It's another way, similar to my ins and outs, that I can get really specific about how I'm going to quote unquote change my life without overcomplicating the situation. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, the last thing I want to do is to make a decision from 1,000 options. Having 5 options in each category is just such a great way for me to limit my brain space, I would say. That's not the right word for it, but you know what I mean. So I broke it down into appetizers, entrees, and desserts. I'm also going to make a post about this on social media, but appetizers are things that take less than 5 minutes. Entrees are activities that are really grounding to me, and desserts are things that I can do every now and then. So my appetizers are outside time, listening to music, aromatherapy. I have a diffuser and I also have essential oils. I love those. I also include making fun drinks on here. So it could be a tea, it could be infused water, anything, a kombucha. I love kombucha. And the last thing for my appetizers is deep breathing. I normally just do that with the mindfulness app on my Apple Watch. For entrees, I put clean the house, do yoga, do a workout, take a bath, or go on a walk. All of those things together just truly ground me, which is the whole point of these entrees. And lastly, for the desserts would be junk journaling, watching a show or movie, having intentional reading time, making cookies, and socializing with friends. Before we wrap this episode up, I want to share my TBR and my watch list with you guys, because you all know I love to watch TV and movies, and I love to read. So these are some of my favorite parts of people's resets when I look at them, and I always find inspiration for what I want to watch or read when I follow resets like this. So for my TBR, I'm currently reading Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, so obviously that's on my TBR. Brimstone by Callie Hart. I read Quicksilver earlier this year, so I definitely want to read the second book. Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. That is my book club book, so I will definitely be reading that. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Everyone is talking about that and the movie, so I have to be included, obviously. His and Hers by Alice Feeney. I want to listen to that on audiobook so that I can watch the show as well. And then Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke. I want to listen to that on audiobook as well because, again, everyone on the internet is talking about that. For my watch list, The Pitt, duh. I loved the first season, and so I'm definitely looking forward to watching the second season. Scandal, I know everyone watched that like a million years ago, but I didn't. So I'm slowly making my way through that show. That's So Raven. I've been going back and watching a lot of my Disney Channel favorites from when I was younger, and so that's what I'm currently on. I've already watched Wizard, Sweet Life on Deck, Hannah Montana. So I'm slowly getting through those. Off Campus, don't need to say more. Everyone is talking about that show. One of my friends is obsessed with it, and she's literally so excited for me to have time to actually watch that show. And then for movies, I want to watch Don't Look Up, Yumi and Tuscany, because I love my girl Halle and I will watch anything she's in. And then also The Devil Wears Prada 2, because everyone's talking about that again, and I watched the first one the other night, and so I'm interested to see what the second one is about. That is everything that I have for the main part of this episode, but of course I have our journal prompts. I might have been gone for a while, but I wouldn't never switch it up on you guys. The first one is, what are you proud of yourself for accomplishing so far this year? The second one, list things that you need to do more of during these last 6 months. And the last one, what are you looking forward to during the rest of the year? Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of the Petal and Pivot podcast. I promise it will not be as long before I post another episode. Let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Petal and Pivot Pod. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.